Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a serious issue that's been making waves in the fishing industry: the brutal practices of industrial fishing vessels in the North Pacific. These vessels are not just catching fish, they're engaging in activities that are shockingly unethical and illegal. From rendering fish into oil to harpooning dolphins for shark bait, the methods are appalling. But it's not just about the dolphins and sharks. The story also involves a massive operation by Canadian authorities, who are cracking down on these illegal fishing practices. So let's break it down and explore the darker side of the fishing industry. First off, let's talk about the dolphins. It's a heart-wrenching scene when you hear about dolphins being harpooned and their bodies cut into chunks to attract sharks. These dolphins are being used as bait, and it's happening on a scale that's hard to fathom. The sharks themselves are caught using illegal gear, and their fins are hacked off for the market, leaving them to die a slow and painful death. This practice is not only cruel but also illegal, and it's happening right under our noses in the high seas between Victoria and Tokyo. Now let's shift our focus to the industrial fishing vessels. These ships are rendering fish into oil, which is a process that makes it impossible to determine if the species are legally caught. It's a loophole that's being exploited, and it's a major concern for marine conservation. The vessels are so large and industrial that they can have a devastating impact on the environment if they're engaged in illegal activities. And it's not just about the dolphins and sharks. These vessels are also taking protected marine mammals and illegal catches of Pacific salmon and other species out of season. The Canadian authorities are taking a stand against these practices. Operation North Pacific Guard, a 2-month mission, involved armed Canadian fisheries authorities and other partners from Japan, Korea, and the U.S. They boarded 30 international vessels and used satellite tracking technology to locate them. The mission was a success, with 52 potential violations of international fisheries rules reported and poor living and working conditions for fishing crews documented. The vessels were mostly part of Asian distant water fleets, flagged in countries like China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and Russia. One of the most concerning aspects of this operation is the rendering of fish into oil. Large Russian ships with fish oil rendering tanks on board are a major concern. These ships can hold over 70,000 liters of oil, and it's impossible to inspect the oil for what kind of fish was caught. This makes it incredibly difficult to ensure that the fishing practices are legal and sustainable. The Canadian authorities are working with the ship's flag states to support further investigations and fines, and potential sanctions on offending vessels. They're also providing reports with photo and video evidence to international fisheries organizations. Last year, a Taiwanese fishing boat captain was sentenced to more than 2 years in prison for harpooning 43 dolphins used for shark finning. This is a significant step towards deterring such practices, and it's a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak situation. Despite the progress, there's still a long way to go. The number of dolphin kills this season is lower than in previous years, but it's too early to tell if this is a trend. The Canadian Coast Guard officials are confident that their involvement in North Pacific fisheries enforcement is making a difference. They've been involved since 2019 and have led the mission since 2021. The presence of Canadian patrols is causing ships to adjust their behavior, which is a positive sign. In conclusion, the fishing industry is facing a critical moment. The practices of industrial fishing vessels are not only cruel but also illegal and unsustainable. The Canadian authorities are taking a stand, and their efforts are making a difference. However, there's still a long way to go to ensure that the oceans are protected and that the fishing industry operates with integrity. It's a complex issue, but one that demands our attention and action. What do you think? How can we ensure that the fishing industry becomes more ethical and sustainable? Let me know in the comments below.